I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. You say he's going to Snowden?
Go ahead. He was saying something.
You're going to Snowden?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Continue.
All right. I want to introduce my group idea.
Gabriel, you can take off
It's
your
an
mask.
app.
It'll probably be better.
You need to turn your volume up.
Mm-hmm.
Chrissy, tell him to take off his mask.
Yeah, probably be better. There you go.
Say,
Can I
from
go?
the top
All right.
again. From the top again.
All right. So,
Oh, wait.
all right.
From the top again.
Good morning, Mr. Jacobs. My name is Gabriel Soto. I'm 13, turning 14 tomorrow. I graduated from the Rafael Hernandez going to Snowden International School. So I'm here to talk about how, you have a stress day. You want to play some basketball, with some people, play some pickup games. You go to the court, nobody's there. That's going to be a problem. You want to play games. So I'm here to introduce my group idea. It's called The World of Basketball. It's an app where like it tells you how many people are at a certain court. For example, if I go to a court, right, I'll say that I'm active at this court. So the number comes up, starts going up for like on the map where the court is at, and you know where people are at. So my product is to help youth basketball players in Boston who often struggle to find pickup games, find some pickup games and practice and get some like confidence with the game and everything. So yeah. So some features to my app that would be good is that people can make new connections. That means a better community and more friendships and everything. Another one is convenience by, it's gonna be convenient for people to figure out where people are at, to find games and stuff. And then, yeah.
That's it. All
That's
right. Let's give him a round of applause. Come on. And then, Mr. Jacobs, I'm just going to ask for your feedback. What did you think? Any ideas, any suggestions that you could give him? Give him and his group.
I think when you're speaking, have confidence in what you're saying. Make sure you speak up and speak to me, not at me. So that way we'll understand exactly what you're talking about. You have a great idea in regards to that application. There is a problem with people playing pickup basketball just around the country. It's not like it used to be, but coming up with that app can be very beneficial. And what I liked about the app is you talk about making connections, as well. It's sort of like if you look at the maps, if you look at Google Maps, they have the zero locator. It's sort of like a locator app, which is good. You can add some more features to it that can be a little bit more detailed, and I can definitely help you with that. But I like the idea. Anything that you're doing with software application is the future. So if you come up with an app that's outside the box, it can be very catchy. And I like the ideal as well. So I think you're onto something there as well. Just do a little bit more research, see if somebody else is in the market doing it as well, and see how you can improve it, going forward. But I like it. Stay with that idea and develop it.
There and here. What do you
Thanks for the tips, but
Thanks for the tips. What else? Start from the heart.
I plan on making more research and more improvements to my app so it can be used more and people can get more interested in basketball because it's a good sport, and I feel like people can make way more connections with basketball, and it'll just be better for pickup games. So yeah, thank you.
No problem. I can definitely help you with that going forward. I'll make sure I'll get your information and we can stay connected because technology is the future. And I'll talk a little bit about that as part of my journey, not just technology, but analytics as well. And that's something I want you to incorporate into what you're doing. I'll explain all that to you going forward.
All right. Let's give Gabrielle a round of applause. Come on. Thank you, Gabrielle. All righty. So definitely want to give Gabrielle, Jaden, Leo, and Jamil a round of applause on that, because it takes a team effort in order to do that, okay? So what we're gonna do next is, because I do see the time and I want to make sure the students hear from you and hear your journey, Mr. Jacobs, because they're really excited. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass it to Coach Pritchard to formally introduce you. And from there, we're gonna hear from you, okay?
You got it.
Good afternoon, everybody. This gentleman doesn't need an introduction. He's been out there, always helping the young and gifted, helping students, helping athletes, helping people in general, regardless of what level it's at. I appreciate you making the time, Darryl, to help our young and gifted today. And as far as I'm concerned, there's no introduction needed. You're just good at what you do, and you consistently have always been there for everyone that's reached out to you. And I respect you for that. So everybody, Mr. Jacobs.
Thank you, Mr. Pritchard, Coach Pritchard, and thank you, 3Point Foundation, for having me here this morning. And good morning to all the students that's in attendance. I want to make sure everyone can hear me. My voice do carry. Are we okay? But it's important that everyone hears me. I want to make sure that is in place as well. I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey and my background. I grew up in Paterson, New Jersey. And that's where I developed my love for sports at. Growing up in the inner city, there was always lack of resources and lack of opportunities. But the one thing that stands out for me in terms of a challenge growing up was not seeing Black coaches or Black broadcasters when I was growing up. They were very few and far between as well. And my biggest challenge was convincing myself that I can do both, become a coach and become a broadcaster. When I got older, my aspiration was to play pro basketball, pro baseball, or pro football. I knew that was a possibility because I see many Blacks playing those particular sports, but there were very few to none Black head coaches or Black broadcasters in professional or college sports. I want to talk a little bit about my values and, having a support group during difficult times, which is going to be very important for you in your journey as well. My parents instilled in me many values, and some of the core values, one of the most important core values is this, and I want you guys to write this down if you can. My mother told me this. She said, you may not get everything you work for, but you will work for everything you get. You may not get everything you work for, but you'll work for everything you get. So, which means you may work hard for something and you may think you deserve it, but you may not get it. But in order to get what you want, you're going to have to work for everything that you get. And those words stuck with me. I have that taped to my refrigerator, believe it or not, every morning, because I live by that as well. But most importantly, during my journey, I had great support group, whether it was my parents, teachers, coaches, mentors. But most importantly, when I was growing up, the neighborhood. Growing up in the inner city, the neighborhood was very, very important in helping with my development. The older guys, the big brothers, the big sisters in the community wouldn't allow me to get in trouble, wouldn't allow me to do certain things. So they really, really looked out for me as well. And a lot of those brothers and big brothers and sisters who were not blood kin were very instrumental in my path. So having that support system is very, very important. Now I want to talk about how athletics have played a big part of my life. As you know, that's been a central part of my life. Without athletics or any sports, I wouldn't be where I'm at, today. It's through sports I developed a lot of my skills I have now. I was an avid reader because I read the sport pages every single morning because I was a sport junkie. I wanted to know what was going on in sports. So I read the sports pages, which in turn allowed me to become a good reader. From there, it also allowed me to become a good writer and speaker. Because if you know the verbiage, you understand the English language, you learn how to read, you learn how to write. The next my development was speaking. So when I would get in debates, as you see Stephen A. Smith, one of my colleagues at ESPN, the best thing you can learn how to do is not raise your voice, but improve your argument. And I'll tell you that. You don't have to raise your voice, you just have to improve your argument. And part of what you see Stephen A. Smith does and some of the other people on the panel is they bring about subject matter, whether they're wrong or right. They just have to have the data to back it up. So I learned how to do that growing up in a city. You know, being able to have that barbershop talk, being able to articulate, being able to prove my point, being able not to raise my voice and just get the supporting data to prove what I was talking about. Whether I was right or wrong, it didn't matter. You know, I had the data to support what I was talking about as well. So athletics played a big part in my life, not just from the participating in sports of the physical skills, but also learning to work with others, learning to deal with adversity. And here's the thing I want you to remember. Failure is good. Failure is good. I have failed my way to the success I've had as well. Sacrificing, and most importantly, being selfless. You know, I learned how to be selfless. I learned how to work with others. I learned how to realize that the goal was bigger than my individual's achievement. Working with others was so important. I knew if I contribute to the whole, you know, if it was successful, then we all will be successful as well. So sports instilled a lot of values and characteristics to me that I've taken with me through my journey as well. I want to talk to you about your purpose in life. You know, this is very important because each and every one of you have a purpose. You're here for a particular reason. My purpose in life, you know, as well as your purpose in life, is to share your gifts. You know, some people have more gifts than others. The worst thing I've ever seen, and listen to what I'm about to tell you, is people with gifts that do not utilize it. There's nothing like wasted talent. That's the worst thing you could ever see. I grew up in a city. There was so much more people that were more talented than me, can speak better than me, but never utilized their talents and gift. They wasted it, whatever the case may be, because they were not focused. They let things distract them as well. But your purpose in life is to share your gifts. And that's most important. Some people have more gifts and more talent than each other. You know, if you guys are into church, I want you to read Matthew 25, verse 14. Write this down. Matthew 25, verse 14. It's called the parable of talents. And I really want you to read that so you can begin to understand it doesn't matter how many talents God bless you with, is maximizing what talent. If you got one talent, maximize it, share it with the world. As I heard Les Brown say, live full, die empty. So don't leave nothing out there. Share your gifts with the world. Each and every one of you got value. Each and every one of you have gifts. You know, some people may have more gifts than others. Your destiny may not be an NBA player. Your destiny might not be a professional athlete. Your destination might be to do other things. Regardless of what you do, you have gifts. So in order to make a contribution to our society and to your community, share your gifts no matter what they are. And let me give you guys a message. I want to leave you guys with 7 things I really want you guys to understand, and I want you to practice this. Your generation, I want you to learn patience. Everything is not about getting it instantly. It's not going to be instant gratification. You got to learn patience. Don't worry about something happening right away. Learn how to do research. Learn how to do research. You guys have the opportunity at everything at your fingertips. You can hit a button and can find out anything that you want to find out. Part of my job at ESPN, or when I was a former college basketball head coach, I have to do a lot of research. I have to do a lot of things to be good at what I do. Listen what I'm about to tell you. The third thing, it is okay to be different. It is okay to be different. You do not have to be what everybody else is trying to do or trying to be. It's okay to be different. It's cool to be different. Step outside the box. Do something outside the norm. Some of your greatest sports figures, some of your greatest entertainers stepped outside the box and created their own narrative about their life. So it's okay to be different. Don't let nobody else tell you anything otherwise. It's okay to be different. The fourth thing, stay away from drugs and alcohol. Stay away from drugs and alcohol. I never drank, I never smoked, and I grew up around it. I grew up around drug dealers, smokers, drinkers. They taught me not what to do because I saw the effect that it had on them. I saw some of them not maximize their talents and their gifts because they fell prey to drugs and alcohol. Stay away from drugs and alcohol. Number 6, read. Become an avid reader. Learn how to read. Do not sit around and do not do anything else. Learn how to read. If you can master rap lyrics, you can master anything else you should do. Read, do research, become good at what you're going to do. It's out there for you. They often say the best way to not maximize yourself among the Black community is put it in a book. There's so much out there that you can learn. Please read. Number 6, please dream. Please dream. Have dreams, have goals. I'm where I'm at today because these were my dreams. Please dream. It's okay to dream. I used to fantasize about being a college basketball coach, being a professional athlete, being on TV broadcasting, not knowing it can come to fruition. So dream, set goals. And finally, and this is important, find you a mentor. Find somebody that you can look up to. Find out somebody that can guide you. Now, my mentors were not professional athletes. My mentors were everyday people because I saw what they do and how they live their life. So I found an everyday person in my life, whether it was my father or a coach. So find a mentor. And through your journey, you're going to have many mentors. Some going to become lifelong friends. Some just going to be in your life for that particular point of just being a mentor to you. So those 7 things I really want you to focus on. Continue to move forward in your life. Learn patience, learn how to do research. It's okay to be different. Stay away from drugs and alcohol. Read, dream, and find a mentor. Now, I want to talk to you about my life experience through basketball and what it has brought to me and all the different things I have acquired and knowledge and the things I've learned about life through my journey in basketball. You know, basketball has allowed me to be a professional basketball player in other countries, become a successful college coach. It taught me a great deal about people in life, as I mentioned, but it also put me in a position to talk about or speak out against issues, whether it's social justice issues or just issues in general as well. So through basketball, it has given me the opportunity to do certain things outside of basketball. And we're talking about the social justice issues, which I'm very much a part of now. I was the first Black head coach at 2 universities. And because of my success there, it has allowed them to look at Black coaches differently. You know, those same 2 schools currently have Black coaches. And I was told that I was at the forefront of being given the opportunity to be the first Black head coach at 2 universities. And it was important to me that I succeed. I understood my mission. I understood what was before me as a Black man being in that position as well. So I was fortunate enough to be the first Black head coach at 2 universities. And now being part of ESPN, there was people that set that trend for me to be in the position I am at as well. But I also want to talk to you about the things I'm doing now outside of ESPN. I'm executive director for Rising Coaches. This is the largest coaching association in America, ladies and gentlemen. We have coaches ranging from the NBA, WNBA, to college, down to grassroots basketball. I am the head of diversity, equity, and inclusion. My job is to create opportunities for minority coaches, men and women, in professional sports and college sports. If you just look at the NBA today, there were like 8 new head coaches hired in the NBA. Unprecedented. That's happening now. All those coaches I have the opportunity to have known and somehow played a part in them getting the opportunity to become head coaches in the NBA just by being with Rising Coaches and doing what I'm doing. At the college basketball level, out of the 51 jobs available on the men's college basketball side, ladies and gentlemen, 27 went to African-American head coaches. And Coach Pritchard can attest to that. We have never seen that many African-American coaches hired in 1 year in college basketball. On the women's side as well, we had 7 women African-American head coaches that were hired. And I was glad that I played a part in moving that needle forward as well. So my platform has allowed me to be in a position with rising coaches as diversity, equity, inclusion. And through that platform, I'm able to contribute and help with these situations to come about as well. Now, finally, I want to talk to you guys about technology and analytics. This is where the future is. This is where you need to really focus on, where a lot of minorities, particularly minorities coming from the inner city, don't have the resources, are not being taught, to you. Prior to ESPN, or while I was at ESPN, I served as executive vice president for a revolutionary technology company called MyPlay. We were the first to come out with a platform that actually had cameras that followed the action on its own. And I helped to create that software package, as well as the analytics with that as well. So this is the future in the technology that's coming forth. Learning how to do software application and learning the latest analytic packages in both sports and business can provide you a very comfortable life as well. So you do not have to be a pro athlete to get to the NBA, to get to the NFL, to get to Major League Baseball. You could be working in any capacity with any of these professional teams, whether it's in analytics, whether it's in front office, whether it's in accounting, whether it's in computer application, whether it's in any part of the organization. You have an opportunity, because those are the jobs that no one is telling you about behind the scenes that are so, so important as well. So I just want to share that with you about the technology and how that's the future and how we need to focus on that. The young man came up there talking about the application that will find pickup games. I think that's tremendous. I think we continue to develop that with the analytic packages. I think he's onto something as well. But a lot of minorities are not doing this, particularly in analytics. Part of me being with ESPN, I had to learn analytics. And I got a certificate in analytics, and I learned from the father of analytics called Dean Oliver. There was not a lot of Blacks that know basketball analytics, believe it or not, because it's not being taught. It's something that's not being taught or emphasized. A lot of the GMs that you see, you watched the NBA draft last night, people, if you were able to watch it last night, a lot of those decision makers in those back rooms for those teams are white. Why? Because they know the analytics. They rely on analytics. That's why they're in those positions. We have to get you to understand the importance of becoming good in the math and sciences. That's the future. And that's what I want you to focus on. Don't worry about bouncing a ball, throwing a football, throwing a baseball. There's a future that can make you a lot of money in what I'm telling you. Do you know there was more millionaires made in the computer industry last year than it was in the NBA first round draft picks? More millionaires made in the computer industry last year than in professional sports. So I just want you to focus on that, knowing that there's other things that you can do that will allow you to have a great life and make a whole lot of money and keep you employed. There are jobs that will keep you employed and keep your services. We are going to a service-driven economy. Probably the days are gone where you're going to stay at a job 20 years like your grandparents or parents. That's not going to happen. Now, we are service-driven economy. Learning a skill or trade that provides a service will absolutely make sure you have a job and live a comfortable life as well. So technology, understanding analytics. Make sure you understand the 7 things I told you to focus on and practice. Acquire some values in your life that you can have a foundation to stand on as well. Athletics can have a great part of your life if used correctly, and understand exactly what your mission is in life is so important. Don't remember, you have a purpose. God has put you here for a purpose. Now it's up to you to understand your purpose and realize what you can do while you're young at this particular age as well. So I'll open up the floor to questions from anybody in the panel. That's whether it's Coach Pritchard, Mr. Titus, Mitchell, Mr. Atiana, anybody, any of the students that's out there listening or watching as well. So I'll open the floor.
First of all, we just want to give you a round of applause for sharing your journey, your story with us. And honestly, like, I was really listening to everything you were saying. And I'm not going to lie. Did you guys feel that? Did you guys feel that, Carl? I hope you guys all wrote patience, research. It's okay to be different. Stay away from drugs and alcohol. Read, dream, and find you a mentor. I'm gonna ask you later those 7 things again, because those, I'm telling you, will carry you into what you need to do with your life. He says that there were more people in the technology industry making more money than if you were going into basketball, trying to be in the, going to the draft or just playing any sports. You can get injured in a heartbeat, but they can't take away what's up here and your values. So that was deep, and I actually appreciate that because I needed to hear that too. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open it up to the students. We do have students with questions. Let's give Chief a round of applause because he's gonna come here to let you know what his question is. That was amazing. You got your book or you need? No. Don't forget.
All right. My name is Chief Rogers. I'm going to freshman year at Weston High, and my question is, why were you so hard on your players when you were a college coach? And another question I have is, why do you think that coaching style is important?
You're muted.
Well, that's a great question. You know, when I was a college coach, you know, one of the things I tried to instill in them, I wouldn't say I was hard on them as much as they thought. You know, at the time they thought I was hard, but now they realized that what I was doing for them was the best for them as well. But I think they became an extension of me. Once they became a part of me, they became part of the family. And I wanted to equip them with the best tools, not just develop them as basketball players, but I wanted to develop them as young men because I knew the kind of world they were going out here to face. You know, regardless of their ethnicity, whether it was black or white, I understood that. You know, when I was coaching at the HBCUs, it was a little bit different. My coaching style was a little bit different because having young black men, I understood the challenges and I knew some of the things that they were faced. And I tried to instill in them certain values and certain characteristics that will help them in their life. You know, basketball taught them how to be competitive. And also, I wanted to be an example, you know, as well, how to show them how to lead, how to be organized, how to do certain things as well. So, you know, of course, if a coach is not hard on you, then they don't believe in you. You know, the day a coach stopped talking to you or taking interest in you, that's the day you need to worry that that coach have moved on from you. And I see Coach Atiana and Coach Pritchard saying the same thing because it's true. You know, so I didn't have favorites. You know, I treated my superstars just like I treated everybody else.
Go ahead.
All right. Thank you for your time and thank you for answering my questions. Have a good day.
Okay.
Let's give him a round of applause. Let's give Chief a round of applause. All right. We have Mr. Frankie. Come on, Mr. Frankie.
Good morning, Mr. Frankie.
Hi, my name is Frankie Williams. I'm going to 6th grade at the Rafael Hernandez School. I have two
Mr.
questions.
Mr. Williams, take off your mask.
Sorry. I have 2 questions for you. Did you like any other sports when you were younger?
Absolutely. I played every sport. You know, I played baseball, basketball, and football. And actually in college, I had a dual scholarship. I played football and basketball in college. So baseball was probably my best sport, believe it or not. I was a hell of a baseball player, but I played everything growing up as well. In high school, I played 4 sports, and then college, I was fortunate enough to play 2 sports. Yes, I loved every sport. I even played tennis. I played tag, if you consider that a sport. We did everything growing up. So everything we played was developing me as an athlete. So yeah. And what I want you to do, Mr. Williams, don't focus on one sport. Try everything. All right. Don't let nobody tell you to play one sport. Do what you love. Only you know what you got a passion for and everything. So try everything and enjoy it. Don't put no pressure on yourself.
Okay. I played 3 different sports. I played football, baseball, and basketball too. And my second question is, what made you like basketball more and become more into basketball?
Well, growing up in Madison, New Jersey, back then was predominantly a basketball city. So I kind of gravitated towards basketball, even though I was good at all the other sports. I wish I would have gravitated towards baseball more. I probably could have made the major leagues, something like that, as well. But I decided basketball because that was my passion. I grew up really watching it, and it really gravitated towards me more than any other sport, as well. So I knew what I wanted to do when I left college and played a little professional basketball, but I always knew I wanted to be a coach, a basketball coach, and I always knew I wanted to be a broadcaster when it was all said and done. I just didn't want everybody to realize I was just a basketball player or coach. I wanted to share my gifts, my other talents that I had. And here's the thing, Mr. Williams, I grew up imitating people I saw on TV broadcasting games, not knowing I was preparing myself for my future. So I may pretend laying in my bed at night, calling games, make pretend I was the broadcaster. And ultimately, it led me to where I'm at today. So that's one. So it's okay to talk to yourself when you're by yourself. That's what I want to tell you. So it's okay.
Okay, thank you for your time to answer my questions. It gave me a lot of information. Have a great day.
You too, Mr. Williams.
Let's give Mr. Williams a round of applause there. So now I'm gonna have my fabulous young lady come up here, Miss Leilani. Come on, baby girl.
Good. I was going to say,
Leilani, a round of applause.
Let's go say, come on. Take your mask off. Let me see that smile. Yes, there you go.
Good morning, Mr. Jacobs. My name is Eleni Aragon. I am entering my freshman year at the John D. O'Brien School. And my question is, why did you choose to coach and what drew you to coaching?
I chose to coach because I was always told when I was playing, I was like a coach on the floor. I've always, when I was growing up, that's why I say it's okay to be different. Even when I was like 9 or 10 years old, I was organizing teams and games with other parts of the city and doing all that stuff. And I just was a natural leader. I studied my craft. I studied sports. My friends growing up played sports, but they didn't know it like me. They thought I was the smartest guy in the world, and they didn't know how I became smart. I simply just read. They didn't understand that until later in life. I just did more reading and research than they did, but I was naturally always like a coach. When I played every sport, as a youngster, I learned how to organize and do certain things, and it was just instilled in me. So quite naturally, I knew I would be a coach, even at a young age as well. So that inspired me. Basketball was my sport of choice because, I had brothers that were older than me that played college basketball, that played professional. I came up in an athletic family. So they always say the best for last, by the way. I'm the youngest. And, I was able to learn from their mistakes and watch them and really get behind them and develop some of the skills I've had. So, at a young age, it was just instilled in me that I knew I wanted to be a coach. And that was one of my goals.
Thank you for answering my question.
Thank you.
All righty. So what I'm gonna, oopsie. Where's everybody? Okay. So what I'm gonna do, because we have about 8 minutes left, I'm just gonna open up the floor to any guest on the call, if they have any questions, anything that they wanted to share with the students, with Mr. Jacobs as well. And I do want to give a shout out to Officer Sky Canuto, who's also on the call with us. She is, we are also have a good partnership with the Boston Police Department. So how you doing today, Officer Canuto?
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for always allowing me to be here. Hi, Christy. I only caught a tail end of what happened because I was in another meeting, and I apologize. But one thing I can piggyback off of is knowing your craft and studying and reading. And I think that is the best part of what I heard so far. It is very true. And I think you are an amazing coach. So keep up the great work.
Well, thank you. How much did you pay her, Claude, to say that? You too, Erica. You ain't getting off the hook.
We got the
I'm not gonna mess with Mr. Titus. Mr. Titus is old school, so he don't look like he plays. So I ain't gonna say that to Mr. Titus. You know.
Well, listen, I would like to say something to you, Darryl. While I have not had the pleasure of meeting you personally, I've followed your career quite a bit. I'm impressed with the things that you guys are doing at Rising Coaches. I was a member of the Old Black Coaches Association for a number of years, and we made great attempts and we made some progress, and you are the next generation moving it on. So I thank you for that. I also appreciate you taking the time to come and speak to the young people at 3Point this morning. I think that the points you made were outstanding. You gave our young people some things to think about, some things to practice as they continue to build their character in themselves and prepare for the future. I also am impressed with the young people that I heard speak today, particularly Mr. Williams and Lalani. Great job, well prepared with their questions, articulate. And so it's been, this is the first one of these that I've attended. I know we've had some 2 or 3 already, but I'm glad I was able to get on this morning. Christy, Claude, Erica, ATM, you guys are doing a great job with the program. Keep it up. Thanks so much, because this is important. We're talking about our future. Young people who are sitting in that room who I see, you are our future. And you should be grateful that you have an opportunity to participate in a program like this and to hear from people like Darryl, who has done tremendous things with his life. Talk about a role model. There he is. And you guys can continue to follow him. Drop him a note every now and then when you see him do something you like, something that's good, just drop him a note. Say, hey, I'm from 3Point. I saw your podcast, or I saw you on TV. Man, I was really proud, you know? Those are the things that help you build networks and relationships. So, again, thank you so much, Darryl. Appreciate you, man.
Well, that's good coming from a legend. See, many people don't know your background, Mr. Titus, but, me being under some great people coming up in the Black Coaches Association as a young coach, knowing what you have done, and knowing that you're part of this, and to impress you, I must be doing something right. So that's, it's sort of like, and we talked about mentors and all that kind of stuff, having, John Thompson and Nolan Richardson, when I was coming up, those guys, Rudy Washington, all those guys, I came under and they was able to take me under their wing. So, I'm on a platform now where I'm trying to pay it forward, working with the different organizations to improve minority coaching opportunities, trying to move the needle a little bit. And this past year, we made some tremendous strides, both in professional basketball and college basketball. Not to say we just had a few women hired in the NBA as well. Anisha Carey, who came from Maine, she's just got the Portland Trailblazers. She's the first African-American. So, these are things we're just trying to do, and, just trying to be an example to the young people in the room. Hopefully we can pass this down to them and just be an example. And they are the future. They're going to be taking care of us, Claude, Atian, Erica, Chrissy, and hopefully you're around too, Mr. Titus, to see this generation really fulfill this promise and leading us in a more positive direction in terms of within our community, but also in society as well. Krista, you are mute.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do want to
That's
say
okay.
thank you to Mr. Titus as well. You know, being a graduate of UMass Boston and doing track and field over there, I do appreciate everything that you've done for our community as the Vice Chancellor for the Division of Athletics, Recreation, and Special Sports and Programs at UMass Boston. So I'm always gonna make sure I shine that beacon out, and I do appreciate you, Mr. Titus, all right? And I have somebody here who's really excited. Dr. J, come say hi. Say hi. Favorite person in the world.
Hi, Charlie. Great to see you. Glad to see you on the call, and appreciate your words of wisdom.
Thank you, Professor Joan. It's great to see you too. I love that heart on your mask.
All heart.
So I do want to make sure that we have 2 minutes left on the call, and I do
Well,
want
well, hopefully we're not on a time frame. When you're doing stuff like this, there's never no time limit for me. I'm just letting you know, you know, there's no time limit. You know, I could stay here all day, you know, really talking to these youth and trying to inspire them. So, you know, my time is not that busy. You know, I know where I come from.
You guys heard what he just said? Yeah.
And besides, Coach Pritchard gave me a whole lot of money, so I can
So even like he just want to spend time with y'all, that's still beautiful. He wants to make sure that everything that he's learning, the things that we teaching you in class, even social emotional technology, like it's not, we're not just doing it just for you to do it. All right, it's things that we've been through, and we don't want to see the same, like, break the generational curses, break those patterns, do something better with your life, okay? So what I'm gonna do, sorry, I get down, I go to church. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass it to Coach Pritchard to do our wrap-ups and exits.
Thank you, Chrissy.
One thing. Can I say one thing?
Of course. I'm sorry, Mr.
Sure.
No problem. I did want to just Mr. Gabriel, his idea I thought was a phenomenal idea. Also, he's going to be in my classroom next year. He's a 9th grade Snowden student. I'm a 9th grade history teacher, so he'll be in my classroom next year. I look forward to having you in front of me next year. All right. Mr. Jacobs, I want to really say thank you and I appreciate the words of wisdom that you gave to the students. My son is there, so he's hearing you, and I want the students to know that, you know, growing up, it was very rare where we could sit in a room and have people of color, Black people, who reach a professional status, giving us their time and their wisdom. So I really appreciate that, and I hope the students really take notes and take heed and apply everything that you just said to them. So I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you, Mr. Gabriel.
Well, I didn't butcher your name, Mr. ATN. So
no, you're good.
That's part of what I do as a broadcast. I got to know how to pronounce names. You know, Chrissy was killing it. She was calling you everything but.
I don't know what she was saying. I was looking around the room like, yo, who's she talking to?
I was like, who's she talking about? Don't mind me. You know, Erica is being quiet. You know, and Erica, I don't know if you want to tell her how we met way before this. You know, as well. I don't even think Claude knew it till you probably connected. You probably said, I know Darryl. You know,
yeah, I did. I said, we were back in the days as athletic directors.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. So
good
this is tremendous. It's good to see you. It's tremendous what you're doing, Erica.
Thank you.
You know, I was very excited when Claude told me about it and found out that you were a big part of this, you know, as well as Mr. Titus and Mr. Atian and Mitchell. And this is tremendous. We do similar in Paterson, New Jersey. You know, I'm really engaged in my community there as well as all of the communities around the country when somebody asked me to speak. So, but I couldn't turn you guys down at all. So anytime you guys need me, I'll be there. You know, just make sure, you know, Claude told me not to tell you guys he's paying me under the table. So, but no, this is tremendous. I like what you guys doing. I love the foundation. I've been knowing Claude since my coaching days at University of Delaware. We just connected right away. He's a good soul, good spirit, and anything he needs from me, I'm gonna be there. Even if I have to drive up to Boston and spend some time with you guys, I'm willing to do that as well. So, and by the way, I'm a Celtic fan. So that's my excuse. Growing up in New York, you don't know what kind of, flack I took, but, growing up Knicks fans in my house, watching them play the Celtics one night, Celtics was killing them and everybody cheering for the Knicks. I was like, y'all going for the wrong team. So that's how I became a Celtic fan at 5 years old, as well. So.
Hey, Darryl, the other day I had lunch with, I think, a friend of yours. I mentioned to him that you were doing this, Gene Marshall.
Oh, that's my big brother. That's big brother. Yes. Yes.
Gene went to Northeastern where I first met him and actually became his big brother.
Okay. Yeah, Eugene, man, that's we're not blood. That's my brother. He's my big brother and I love him to death. So and you see how it trickles down. That's your big brother. You see the connection is there as well. But that's our generation. That's what we did. We took each other under the wings as well. So I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for Gene guidance as well. He played a big part in my life for a long, long time. Besides, I used to bust him up in basketball when he was older and when I was still rolling, when he was still trying to play basketball.
I'll tell him you said that.
Oh, yeah, you know that. He was older, his knees were gone, and I took advantage of it like I'm supposed to. So, but
Darryl,
it was
I'd
great.
like to, go ahead,
Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Claude. I'm sorry.
No,
No.
I'd like to thank you for making the time, bro. Because like I said, we go back some years. We reconnected at the Junior College Nationals when I was coaching for Mrs. Davis at RCC.
Yep.
And, like I said, we go back some years, man. And you've always been there for the kids, for the athletes, for our young and gifted. And like I said, if I can ever return this favor, I'm there. It takes nothing but a phone call. I got to thank the people on the call. Mr. Titus is a legend in this community, not just as a coach and as a player, but just as a person of color that's been there for this community for years. And for that, you get the utmost respect from everybody on this call within this city. Sky, the Boston Police, you guys are great. I know Marky and all you guys are normally on the call. Nora, you guys have been great. You've been a partner of ours since the beginning. And Sky, again, you guys do great work out there. Stay safe. But we can't get this done without our student teachers, Darryl, Erica, Dr. J, Mitchell, Chrissy, all of our student teachers from UMass and BU, they make this work, because they're in the classroom, they're on the ground. And again, it takes a village. Okay. But at the end of the day, it's our scholars. And one of the reasons why I developed, this speaker series is because I needed them to see consistently people that look like them that are successful and that are in positions of power. Okay. And it's important for them to see that because they're always being told, no, you can't. And me, Darryl, we go back some time. I don't take no for an answer. So I got the utmost respect for you.
Obviously, I know that.
I got the utmost respect for you. And I really, really appreciate you making time because I know your schedule is crazy and I know you always make time to do this. So kudos, bro, and much respect.
I love you, man. Always, you too. I love everybody on the call, as well. Anytime you guys need me, I have no problem coming up. I have friends live up in Boston. So, I can even bring some surprises with me as well. I like what you guys are doing. So I'm just a phone call away.
All right. And you know what?